As the golden sun dipped below the horizon, the land transformed into a tranquil embrace of twilight. It was time for all creatures, big and small, to settle down for a peaceful night's sleep. First, Freddy the Fox curled up in his cozy den. He yawned, his bushy tail wrapped snugly around him, and finally closed his bright eyes, whispering goodnight to the moon. Nearby, Hazel the Hedgehog shuffled into her leafy nest. She tucked in her little spikes, safe from the night's chill, and whispered softly to the stars above, "Good night, O twinkling friends." At the edge of the forest, high in the ancient oak, was Olive the Owl. She blinked her wise eyes slowly, for her watch was just beginning. To her, the nighttime was a canvas for adventure and learning. Down by the river, Alvin the alligator lay quietly by the water's edge. His scales glimmered under the faint moonlight, and a contented rumble echoed from his throat as he dreamt of shimmering fish and warm sunshine. In the pasture, Daisy the deer tucked her legs beneath her, her fawn close by. She nuzzled the young one with her gentle nose and whispered, "Sleep well, dear one." Benny the bear was next in his spacious cave, dreaming of honey and laughs shared with forest friends. His snores were gentle, bridging the space between dreamland and reality. Within the barn, Clara the cow was nestled in hay, surrounded by her barnyard buddies. Low light trickled in, creating a peaceful setting as she rested, dreaming of sunny green pastures. Beneath the wide ocean, Lenny the lobster lay hidden in a rocky nook, curling up with dreams of drifting seaweed forests and secret underwater treasures. On shimmering sands, Terry the tortoise found his haven beneath a large palm leaf, sheltering him from the whisper of gentle ocean breezes. In the heart of the jungle, Manny the monkey swung slowly into his hammock of vine, close to his family, smiles playing across their dreamy faces. Across the wide savanna, Leo the lion, the king of the jungle, stretched his mighty paws and let out a final, deep roar before settling down, his golden mane resting against the rough, warm earth. Underneath a large waterfall, Priscilla the penguin huddled with her colony. The gentle splashes were the perfect lullaby, as they drifted into dreams of icy lands and jumping over icebergs. In the icy north, Elle the elephant trumpeted softly, a serene night call as she gathered her young ones close, making sure each was snug beneath the starry sky. Rory the rabbit hopped into his warm burrow, tucking himself amidst the soft earth, his nose twitching with the dreams of fields full of daisies and clover. Up above, Gilly the giraffe, with her neck stretched tall, grazed her soft cheek against a tree, her eyes fluttering shut with thoughts of cottony white clouds streaking across the bright blue sky.
Once upon a time, in a lush bamboo forest far in the mountains, lived a curious little panda named Pippa. Unlike the other pandas who were content lazing around munching on bamboo all day, Pippa had an adventurous spirit. Her round eyes sparkled with a desire to explore beyond the familiar green thickets. Pippa lived with her family in a cozy enclave amidst towering bamboo stalks. The world was a sea of endless green for most pandas, but for Pippa, it was an invitation to discover the unknown. One sunny morning, when the dew glistened on the leaves like tiny diamonds, Pippa decided it was a perfect day for an adventure. She carefully tiptoed past her parents who were napping under the sprawling branches of an ancient banyan tree. Her heart pounded with excitement as she ventured out of the safety of her home. She wandered along a winding path she had never taken before, leading her to the edge of the forest. She heard the unmistakable sound of a gushing river, a melody hidden in the harmony of nature. Intrigued, Pippa trotted towards the sound and was soon standing beside a crystal-clear river that sparkled in the sunlight. Never had she seen water so vast and beautiful. Her reflection danced on the surface, and she giggled, trying to catch the shimmering image with her paws. As she played by the riverbank, she noticed a peculiar-looking fish jumping out of the water. "Hello," called the fish, making Pippa's eyes widen in astonishment. "I'm Flo, the river fish. What's a panda like you doing so far from home?" Pippa, momentarily speechless, soon found her voice. "I wanted to see what's beyond the bamboo forest," she explained with a grin. Flo flicked her tail delightedly. "Well, welcome to my part of the world." There are many more wonders beyond the forest and the river. Would you like me to show you around? Feeling an overwhelming surge of happiness, Pippa nodded. Together, they journeyed along the river, with Flo leading the way in water, while Pippa kept pace along the bank. Flo showed Pippa the bustling life in the river, turtles sunbathing on rocks, dragonflies dancing above the water, and birds singing joyful tunes from tree branches. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, Pippa realized it was time to return home. With a heart full of gratitude and countless new stories to tell, she bid farewell to Flo, promising to visit again. The journey back through the forest fell shorter somehow. As she nestled in with her family that night, Pippa was already dreaming of her next adventure. Her spirit of curiosity had been awakened, and the little panda knew that many more exciting tales awaited her just beyond the bamboo thickets, beyond where the light of discovery lay waiting. Pippa's adventure taught her that the world was a magical place, filled with mysteries to uncover and friends to meet. She learned that courage could lead her to incredible experiences, and that sometimes stepping out of the comfort zone unveils the most beautiful stories. And so, Pippa drifted into a peaceful slumber, her mind abuzz with dreams of what the next day would bring, ready to explore, discover, and create new stories of wonder and joy. Once upon a sunny morning on a small farm, there was a little red hen named Ruby. Ruby was a cheerful and diligent hen who lived with her friends, Daisy the duck, Howard the pig, and Benny the goat. They all lived in a cozy barn surrounded by lush green fields. Ruby was known on the farm for her love of baking, especially bread. One day, Ruby found a few grains of wheat lying on the ground. She immediately had a brilliant idea. I can plant these grains in the field, and once they grow, I can harvest them to bake delicious bread, she thought. Excited by the prospect of fresh bread, Ruby asked her friends for help. "Who will help me plant these grains of wheat?" asked Ruby with enthusiasm. Daisy, who was swimming in the pond, quacked, "Not I. I'm busy practicing my swimming tricks." She carefully tended to them day after day, watering and watching them grow until they turned into golden stalks of wheat. Once the wheat was ready to harvest, Ruby again asked her friends, hoping they might lend a hand. "Who will help me harvest the wheat?" Daisy replied, "Not I. I'm working on my flying flips in the pond." Howard snorted, "Not I. I've just found a perfect sunbathing spot." Benny said, "Not I. I'm quite content nibbling on wildflowers." Again, Ruby decided to do it herself. She harvested the wheat, threshed it, and took it to the mill to be ground into flour. She returned, arms full of freshly ground flour, and asked one last time, "Who will help me bake the bread?" Her friends, busy with their leisure activities, responded the same way. Ruby, although a little disappointed, was determined to finish what she started. She gathered other ingredients she needed, mixed the dough, and placed it in the oven. Soon, the delicious aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the farm. Ruby thought for a moment and replied, "I planted the wheat alone, harvested it, and baked the bread by myself. So I will be the one to enjoy the bread." Disappointed, her friends realized the importance of helping out. Seeing their sad faces, Ruby smiled warmly. But friends, baking bread is about sharing too. Let's all have a slice and work together next time. They all sat together, enjoying the fresh bread, and promised Ruby they would help her on her next baking adventure. Ruby was happy to share her bread and glad to teach her friends a lesson about teamwork and cooperation, making the farm feel like home again. And from that day on, whenever Ruby needed help, Daisy, Howard, and Benny were always the first to volunteer.